So hi everyone, my name is Gordan and I'm here representing Canonical. For those of you that don't know Canonical, Canonical is the company behind Ubuntu, the most used operating system, Linux operating systems in the cloud, and desktop and embedded environments. And this is our actually fourth year sponsoring this event. And what we usually do is we give an update to everyone in the community what is Canonical doing with Ubuntu and our broader portfolio on RISC-V. So last year, what I was doing, I gave you a couple of promises of what is on our roadmap. And the roadmap was the following. We were talking about deeper collaboration with the RISC-V community. We talked about the collaboration with our partners and making Ubuntu and Canonical technologies available on next-gen RISC-V platforms. But more so, we promised also that we're going to work on our RISC-V profile strategy, supporting vendor extensions, as well as providing scalable RISC-V build and test infrastructure, which is really important for us as a Linux distribution to be able to test things at scale, right? So let's see how we actually did. So this is a retrospective of what we did in 2024 right now. So when it comes to collaboration with our partners, you can see that we've been pretty successful in that regard. We partnered with Deep Computing to provide Ubuntu on the laptop that has the SpaceMate SoC inside it. We worked also closely with Ventana on their SDK, supporting their early access customers. We worked also with Microchip, as well as with Milk5 on several different boards. But today also we had an announcement, or yesterday even, with our partner Sci5. They were one of our premier partners in the RISC-V space since we started our journey in RISC-V 4 years ago, right? And today you can also see that in our booth. We're showing the Hi5 Premier P550. So this was a board co-developed by Sci5 and Eastwin, and Canonical, together with the rest of the teams, we provided Ubuntu on the board. So feel free to order it because it's available on Arrow right now. So I think that we did pretty great from the collaboration point of view in 2024, and I think that we're going to continue to do even more greater stuff in the future. We also collaborated quite a bit in the community. We left our influence across the RISC-V summits as well as the RVI and the RISE community, right? But that's perfectly great. We did an amazing job in 2024, but let's see what's on our roadmap for 2025, right, and beyond, actually. So this is yet an encore of the future of Ubuntu. So as you might know, Ubuntu celebrated 20 years in this year. So the first Ubuntu was released was 4.10, which means in 2004 was the first release of Ubuntu. And just like a week ago, we released 24.10. So in 20 years, we had 41 releases, and we had also several LTS releases, 10 to be exact. The LTS releases are the long-term supported releases that our enterprise-grade customers are using. Why am I mentioning this here? You will see in a moment, because this is going to be important for those of you that are not aware about that, right? We also took on a challenge with Ubuntu 20.04 and 22.04 and 24.04 LTS to build Ubuntu across multiple ISAs, which means that we're supporting AMD64, ARM64, and RV64 platforms. Right now, we're compiling for RVA 20 in RISC-V, and that is okay. That's supporting the platforms that are available outside on the market today. But naturally, we want to go beyond that. And just to give you a bit of feeling of the challenge and the scope of the challenge, what happens when you're building a Linux distribution for a given ISA. So this is like an architecture of how Ubuntu is created. You have the Linux kernel in the bottom, you have the main repository, and then you have the universe repository. The main and universe repositories are constructed from open source packages that we curate and take into our distribution. And as you can see, this ecosystem is quite vast. It can be more than 30,000 different packages. So you could easily imagine that when you're trying to compile for a new architecture, you have to recompile and retest these packages for that specific architecture, right? So that brings a unique set of challenges, but we still took them on, right? And that's why supporting RISC-V was a gargantuan task, actually, for our teams, right? So that means that we need to build a design and specification. We needed to ramp up our build systems, CI/CD, and automation. Then, of course, the work for security, support, and compliance, bring it all together to provide that unified Ubuntu experience. And you can see that today in the delivery that we're doing together with our partners, right? So it's still not comparable fully to all the other architectures, but we're slowly getting there, right? There's still challenges with having scalable build infrastructure, but I think that's only gated by the availability of hardware that has server-grade performance for usage of in-built systems, right? So looking at right now, our status is that we're supporting RVA 20, which I think that's the standard today. Those are the systems that exist on the market, right? But fairly so, a lot of our partners were asking us, what about the new RVA profiles? What are you going to decide for your future long-term supported releases? So I think that it's only great to be here and to say that we're going to be upgrading Ubuntu to RVA 23. And coming back to our release schedule, this is going to happen probably with the first release in Ubuntu 25.10. And the LTS that's going to support RVA 23 is going to be 26.04, right? So like I said, this is the current plan of record, and we have a great feeling that this is going to happen, right? So I think that's very exciting, given the fact also that the spec was ratified just yesterday, and I think it's the right time for us also to be really bold and state that we plan our next LTS release to fully support RVA 23, right? So coming back to the original picture, that would mean that right now, along with the other architectures that we support, we would also support RVA 23 as well with RISC-V. But on top of that, we also had something other on our roadmap, was being able to support the diversity of RISC-V platforms, right? So we are working together with key partners to provide ways to super optimize Ubuntu for their platforms, which would mean that their tool chains and the compilation of specific open source packages could be done specifically targeting exactly what they need. So we also have an option for that. And that is a huge task when it comes to the build infrastructure that we need to develop actually to get this done. But like I said, we're working with key partners to get this done. And in essence, what would that mean from a distribution perspective that I shown before was that you have normal Ubuntu on the left side, and then you have a partner archive that has its own set of vendor or optimized toolchains and a set of packages that are probably similar or maybe different from the ones found in Ubuntu Universe and Main. And then basically they will get compiled with those packages, but they will construct a super optimized version of Ubuntu for a given platform, right? And I think that RISC-V is really, with the whole diversity around it and with the type of solutions that are being built with the extensions, with custom extensions, this is something that our partners are really looking forward to. Right, so we really see that with 26.04, we're going to have probably a lineup of different Ubuntus together with our partners, as well as having the generic Ubuntu 26.04 LTS supporting RVA 23. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this update, and we're going to see each other next year, right, for the similar type of update. Thanks a lot, everyone.